Hello, everyone. How are you? I'll wait for some comments to come in and make sure that this is all working the way it's supposed to be working. If you can hear me, give a thumbs up. Oh, hello, Jim. You're there. Okay, so you can hear me. I think there's one person. Yay, thumbs up. Thank you, Gina. Thank you so much. It's so great to see you guys here. Thanks for tuning in and everything like that. I hope you're having a great week. Another week. They kind of just all seem to be blending together, but here we are learning and learning and learning, hopefully in a very fun way about your craft. So thank you, and thank you Backstage and all that stuff. You know what I'm going to say. Anyway, so today's topic, and I'll start taking more questions at the end, but I'll kind of start getting into it now. Today's topic is all about vocal health, right? And this is something that's really, really important to me, and it should be really important to you if you want to go into the world of voiceover. But this is also for you singers out there, for you actors out there, really anytime you're using your voice, right? Your voice is an expression of who you are. And I really believe that it goes well beyond doing just voiceover and reading a script or or getting in front of a crowd and speaking or whatever. I really do think it comes from expressing yourself. Now, that being said, this is the most important thing we have for expressing ourselves, isn't it? Right? And again, you singers know this as well. You're giving love or giving emotion through a song. And if you're like me, I'm also a professional singer. You know those days where your voice isn't quite there and it's just disappointing. So, for those of you who haven't tuned in before and don't know who I am, my name is Laurie Burke. Obviously, you got that from the from the email probably sent to you. And I'm a voiceover artist for about 15 to 20 years professionally, and also a singer and also an on-camera actress. Also worked in casting, worked in films, commercials. You name it, I've pretty much done it. Looping, everything, public speaking, I did communication, all that stuff. So I have used my voice consistently for a very long time. Plus, I talk a lot because I like to communicate a lot. So there you go. You're probably like me as well. So anyway, I have learned how important our voices are to not only who we are, that's a whole spiritual thing, but also how we're perceived. And in voiceover, that is exactly what our job is. Our job is to tell a story and convey an emotion. Now, we can't do that if our instrument is injured or not up to par, right? So, the first thing you should do when you wake up in the morning is say thank you that your voice is working and that you actually have this sort of capability to express yourself, as well as a platform, or as well as some sort of avenue that you're pursuing, or maybe you're already in, that you get to do that and be creative with your voice. So I always say thank yourself for that. I used to get up every morning. I mean, I was hyper vigilant. What happened to me was and some of you out there that are the multi creatives that are doing this for a profession alongside other creative things, I was on camera every day almost, speaking. I was speaking to a teleprompter, this and that, as well as doing voiceover. So I do that during the day. I'd go on auditions and also use my voice. Then I would probably come home and do some voiceovers that I was recording. Then I would sing at night with the band. And so on TV, I'm doing teleprompter. I'm also doing voiceover in a studio, and then I'm singing in band. And after a while, you get this perfect storm sometimes, and you get sick. This is what happened to me. A lot of things happened, and I lost my voice. And this is many years ago, and that's when I really started taking vocal health seriously. And I saw an otolaryngologist, which is a great word to say anyway, but if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. It's somebody that specializes in your head and neck and surgery and in your throat and things like that. So that got me on the path of really getting into realizing that this is very important. And like an actor whose skills are also, you're an athlete. It's the same thing with the voiceover. If you are a runner, let's say, your legs, you have to keep your legs in shape, right? You have to keep those muscle tones up. It's the same thing with being a voiceover artist and singer and anyone that's using their voice. Okay, so first of all, that was just the sort of importance of it all. So over the years, I have developed quite a few warm-ups and quite a few things that can help. First of all, let's get like you're waking up in the morning, you say, thank you for my voice, or whatever it is that you're going to say. Um, say good morning to whoever else is in the room, I guess. Say that as well. And you're probably going to hop in the shower. This is a great time to warm up your voice because the humidity of the shower, loosens everything. It coats everything so that it's nice and moist, and that your speaking will be clear. I say this because you're also relaxed in your shower. You probably do most of your singing in your shower, right? You probably do try out a lot of different things in your shower, right? That's just nobody sees you, so you're a lot more relaxed with it. And I do find that that's one of the number one things with your voice is how stressed you are. So one thing you could do just right off the bat, one of the things to warm up is I do little massages. You could do massages kind of right in front of your ear, right here. That seems to loosen things up and open your jaw. Yeah, we're going to be making a lot of funny faces during this session. Um, and you could also massage here, by the way. These are all muscles, right? Lightly, guys, lightly. Don't go rolfing in there or anything like that. But all of these get very tight from your neck to your ears to your throat to your clavicle, everything. This is something that really affects your voice and the way that you speak, as well as your posture. And as you can tell right now, I'm on a stool, but I'm as open as I can be with my shoulders. If you've studied singing at all, you know you're breathing from your diaphragm, so you're breathing from not up here, but down here, and your stomach goes out, right? So and don't worry, I know this is a side note for a lot of people. They're like, but I don't want to look fat when I breathe out. Well, get over that because you want your voice to last forever and you want a career in this. And there's room for everybody here, no matter what your size or look. So anyway, beside the point, we're talking about voices. So uh, in the shower, when you're doing the little massage, let's say you're loosening up, you're doing things like that. The number one vocal, uh, I think, I don't even want to call it like a little drill, but it's the lip trill. So I say, the thrill of the trill. It's the easiest thing to do, and it also breaks up things in your throat. So what I want you to do is I want you to uh, let's see if I can do this. Okay, so you're going to say a B. It's going to be a B. Okay, and you're going to take a breath, and you're going to just let everything loose. Let everything loose. Put your lips together. Now, for some of you, just starting this and never have done doing these exercises before, that might be kind of challenging to keep the air going, right? So to help you out and to begin, you could put your just put fingers look lightly like this on the sides of your face, and a lot easier, right? You could go on forever with that. Now you start with that, and you should start to feel it in your nose and in your mask and everything. It's going to loosen everything up, and then you start doing it maybe in a song. Okay. You can also, maybe you could play with your kids, and they're playing with Hot Wheels, and you can see how high up and how low you can go and how easy that is to flow up and down. That one exercise, it's so funny because I was doing that in my recovery years ago, and I would just walk around. I do that. I would sometimes stick out my tongue. Well, I wouldn't realize that I was doing that in public sometimes. I was so used to doing it. I was doing it in the car. I was doing it all the time. It just feels good, and it also breaks everything up. There's a lot of physiological things that happen during this, but just know that it's good for you, and it's also fun. And I want you to start doing that and do it, like I said, in songs. You could do it, however you want to do it. Another one that you could do is the R's, which I love. If you can roll your R's, it's wonderful. I always picture, if anybody remembers Batman and Catwoman, she'd go. Now, while you do that, you want to make different, maybe vowel movements with your mouth. So, for example, I'm going. That was an E. That was an O. That's going to warm up everything. Now you should be feeling it right here. You should be feeling it. And sometimes it gets a little itchy. That's great. Just keep getting itchy, get uncomfortable with it until it's comfortable and fun. You're just going to make it look that way. So another one that you can do is I say like a cow, be a cow, be a California cow. What is it that they sell? Is it the cheese? I think it's the cheese. Anyway, be a happy cow. I think we're happy in California if I remember that commercial right. And you could go moo. Really, it's more of the humming, and it's more about the placement of the M. Okay. Right now, everything is really relaxed for me. Right. I'm used to doing this a lot. So don't exert a lot of air. Don't have a lot of air pushing against your vocal cords. Just do it nice and have fun with it, you know? And like I said, I make up little songs. I don't know. I just happen to do it all the time. I'm sure it looks very strange to people walking down the street. Another thing is the Z. The Z sound is great, kind of like a B, right? Zzz, bzzz. That you're going to feel all over. Right? Okay. So you got that. You got the B, you got the R, you got the M. There's other ones, of course, the Z. These are just short. I mean, these can go on for hours, but I'm just giving you the easiest ones, I think. Another thing that you should be doing is just kind of opening your mouth a lot. So one of the things I do is like flip, flop, flip, flop. Now look, now I'm elongating my mouth, flip, flop. And I'm really exaggerating things. You can even take your cereal box. If you've watched other videos that I have, you could go to my website or go to YouTube or even on Backstage and see other videos where I've talked about doing this and kind of really elongating your words. So in the morning, when you have a session, particularly in the morning, sometimes they book voiceover sessions really, really early in the morning. You want to get up even an hour earlier and start, doing these sort of exercises, right? You want to really open and close. And so if you're reading your cereal box, you can say today is Wednesday. So you just get used to all of these little muscles, all of these little things. I ask you to do this on a daily basis because what happens is you develop muscles. First of all, you know about that, but also then you can gauge where your voice is at. Because if you do the same, let's say 5 that I give you, I don't know if that was 4 or 5, and then every day you can kind of gauge yourself, like, oh, I can see that's a little bit easier for me. Especially the trills. If you haven't done the trills before, you're like, wow, I could really hold that longer, right? Another good one is the T. The T is you take a breath in. Now you let a little bit of air go out. See how long you could do that. Sometimes, I'm just going to give you a warning, if you have low blood pressure like me, you really got to be seated for that one, because you don't want to, don't do anything where you're really hot and you're holding your breath out for so long and you get lightheaded. If you get lightheaded, stop. You know what I mean? Because you're really focused sometimes and you're really, really just trying to hold that as long as you can. What that's good for, obviously, is if you have a long bit of copy where they want you to do, let's say, one of the end drug quotes, or something where you have to speak for a long, long time without taking a breath in between, a very long run-on sentence. Sometimes they do have run-on sentences, and guess what? It's your job to do them. So this is good to practice your air control and your support and see how long you can get it. Now, another really, really, really fun one for me that I used to do with my nephew, who I love, Jace. He is also a voice artist and a commercial actor. But anyway, he and I used to just walk around and I would go, we would kind of speak in a different language, but all B's and D's and M's. So everything I just kind of told you, you can kind of just go, you do that. Also, if you're a singer like me, you can scat, it goes into scatting, but you could do that. And it's kind of like your own language and it's fun, but you're also kind of getting used to using your inflection as well as warming all of this up. Right? So if you've been doing this with me, you should feel like you could feel a little bit more in your mouth, maybe warming up if you didn't already do warm-ups today. So that's one of my favorite. I think that is just like so fun. There's obviously also the ones that are, Peter Piper picked a pick of pickled pepper, all that. That's kind of boring. But you could do red, leather, yellow, leather, which you've probably heard before too, and see how much you can speed that up. There are so many of those that I won't even go into all of those. I say pick any word or any sentence that seems to be challenging to you, especially if they have the same consonant in the beginning of the word, right? So P's, S's, N's, M's, whatever, and go over it and over it and over it and over it. And then what I want you to do is practice punching. And I say punching, watch some of my older videos for that, emphasizing maybe the second, maybe it's Peter Piper picked. Do different sort of acting techniques with it. Or that kind of seemed like a William Shatner kind of thing. But you know what I mean? Go and experiment with it. Don't just do it all one line. Right? Because you're doing voiceover. So you really want to practice going up, going down, going sideways, all this stuff. My last video, which is also my YouTube or my laurieburke.com, you can look at, and it has some of this also in there that kind of exaggerates that. Another little tip that I can give you is, again, sometimes these voiceover calls are very early, or sometimes you have a very full schedule and you have to get a voiceover in the morning, even if it's your auditions, right? What I do to warm up, my dad lives on the East Coast, so he's 3 hours ahead. So I can call him. I can get up early, get him up at 5, and start talking on the phone. Here's my tip, though: don't do a speakerphone. You're actually yelling more. You're exerting too much with the speakerphone. Do it with a headset or something like this, because we're going to talk a lot quieter when we're like this than when we're like this. Right? So, but just that vocal, just that talking really warmed it up. Plus I'm listening to direction. There are a whole bunch of things to get you into that mind space before you go into the studio and before you do what it is that you want to do. Now, here is some top tips for you as far as your lifestyle. Okay. Because that is going to be your ongoing thing. So, lifestyle is so important. Why I had to curb back a little bit on my singing was because I was singing at loud places at night. Yes, I had ear monitors and all that stuff, but I couldn't talk when I had to save my voice for the next day. And it's really difficult when you're out at a loud place, and especially if you're drinking. I wasn't drinking, but if you're drinking and you're getting louder and louder and you're competing with other people and the band and the sounds and this and that, you really have to think about that as a voiceover artist. That's pretty much the number one thing. I used to take Sundays off of speaking. I would just take Sundays off, and it was really kind of fun and freeing. You would just go to the store and go, and they would understand you. You totally get around. We use way too many words that we need to do. But your lifestyle is very important. I had a student, she didn't study with long because I think she made her decision. She came to me and her voice was really hoarse. She was a singer, not really, I don't think she was trained in the operatic way, but she was more of a yeller screamer. I'm not just, everybody's got their thing. There's metal, there's this, there's that, all this stuff. But for whatever reason, she would just thrash her voice. And so when she came into me, I said, well, listen, you take this seriously, and she said, but I, go out at night and she parties and this and that. I said, I'm not, whatever you do is great. Have a wonderful time, but you're going to have to make a choice, right? How badly do you want it? How badly do you want it? For me, waking up in the morning with a clear voice that I can use, and I know I can hit those notes, and this is singing too, but also voiceover, and voiceover when I'm singing in voiceover, makes my day. It makes my day. So if it's not there and it's raspy more than it normally is, let's say my normal speaking voice, it takes a little out of me. So I have to really warm up and make sure that I am in the tip top shape. This goes into hydrate. Okay. When you're dehydrated, this is why alcohol is bad for you, obviously, and caffeine and all these things. It's, your vocal cords get dry, or your folds get dry, and then mucus gets in there. And then you have to clear your throat, which drives me up the wall when people clear their throat. Right. So you, instead of clearing your throat, first of all, dairy is also a big thing for me. When I stopped having milk and certain cheeses and this and that years ago, that really cleared everything up. I used to always be stuffy and mucus and all that stuff. And so I don't want to tell you how to change your life, but that is something to really consider if that's affecting you, which it was very much me. So you want to make sure that you're hydrated and that you avoid the things that cause you to dry this out. The mucus that builds up and the clearing of your throat is just, every time somebody does that, especially my students, if you ask any of them, I am so Don't clear your throat. Swallow, swallow, swallow. I like apple cider vinegar. Actually, is a good little thing. I can maybe I'll put together a little list of things like that. Um, and you don't want to. That's such a harsh thing. Okay. And when I hear people with, I know women out there especially. Sometimes you go out when I was younger and I would get a raspy voice because I would lose my voice. And I think that was really sexy and cool. It's not sexy and cool. Now I hate it. When I hear that, like somebody has this voice, it just grates on me. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to help you. I just want to help you, take some vocal rest or, get a lot of sleep. That's another thing. Drink a lot of water. I mean, these things, but it's going to become even more important to you if this is important to you. If this is important, to do this and do this correctly, then you have to treat this with respect. You have to treat the fact that you even have a talent. You have to treat the fact that you have this opportunity, and you have to really appreciate it and do what it takes. So, that means maybe staying home on a Friday or Saturday night. Now we're all staying home, so it really doesn't matter. But you know what I mean? Not yelling, not over abusing your voice. And, I'm going to guess you probably, when you abuse your voice, you really do. Whispering's bad too. So don't whisper. You can take it down a little bit, but don't whisper. The most important thing I think for this in general is, as far as a warm up for you, is to have really good self-talk, right? If you do get in a situation where your voice is thrashed and it's because last night you went to a birthday party and you had a lot of fun with your friends, and you did this and that, and great, then be gentle on yourself. Don't berate yourself, and say, well, what did I learn from this? What did I learn from this about my voice? Okay, I learned I can't do that. Okay. There are other tricks when you're in the moment. I was just talking to Polytech about this. They were asking me about vocal health and things like that. And there are tricks that you can do as far as pitching it up more in your nose when you get in that situation where everything's loud and you want to take it down to here. Sometimes it's a little annoying, but you could kind of, it's almost like a Valley Girl thing, like, oh my God, totally. Like, I don't feel anything down here though. Right. So you want to experiment and get to know your voice. I know I'm throwing a lot of things in this, but we only have a short, limited amount of time. So I just want to make sure that I give you at least a little bit of these. Again, you could get on my website, my YouTube channel, sign up for everything, and I'll send out some information, which has been slow going. So I'm sorry for everybody that has signed up, but I promise to get you more and more information coming out about voiceover, all things voiceover. So that's my number one tip. Again, is don't berate yourself. It's a learning process. You're going to treat your voice with respect, and it will in turn treat you with respect. I also like a little thing that Morgan Freeman does. He really believes in yawning. The yawning really relaxes you, and it takes his voice down, he says too, but it really relaxes everything, Also, you're opening your mouth, you're stretching everything. So, that's another, just a really good, feel good kind of moment, and know that, you're, work where you're at, right? And just keep working on it and enjoy it and have fun with it. So that's my little preaching thing on self-talk, but it's very important. It's very important that you do that. I think every day is that you're appreciative of your voice and of learning and expressing yourself and really treating it well. Okay. All right. So let's see. I'm going to take some questions now. Sorry. That's why I'm looking over here. Okay. What's a good way to maintain your voice when doing a job with a lot of crazy yelling? Yeah. Animation, video games. Angie, I know what you're talking about. Okay. There's a couple things. And in animation, there is yelling. There is. There are safe ways to yell, just like there's safe ways to insert a rasp. When you do it once in a while, you're okay. Right? Even in singing, if you just do a little here and there, it's that constant yelling. I will say a couple things. Try to hold back, but still exert. What do I mean by that? I don't want to blast out your speakers, but if you're really yelling and you're yelling from your throat, yeah, you're just going to slam your vocal cords over and over again. There's a way of yelling to where you can actually use your microphone better. Don't forget, you have the luxury of a microphone. It's not like you're on a huge stage singing opera, and you're belting it out, and so you don't have a microphone. You have a microphone. there are ways that you can scream and I hate that word scream with that, but yell and hold back a little bit. And I would say it's going to be in your pitching it. You're going to be pitching it more in your nose and up here, right? Gosh, and it's a little difficult to go into that because that can go on forever. But I will also say, if you are doing that and your voice is really if you're losing it and you're looking at your whole career, you really got to figure out something else to do, a different way to do it to get there, or just try it. Okay. I will also say, go home and don't talk to anybody. Nothing is better than vocal rest when you have stuff like that going on. Don't talk to anybody before. Do the warm-ups I did, but do it very, very gently. And when you have to do those, then and if you, even if it's gonna, it sounds like you already have a job doing it, so I don't want to tell you to quit the job, obviously. But if for some reason you can't get there without exerting that much, then be quiet all the other times. I have warm liquids. I always have warm liquids by me to warm up my voice, not cold, not ice. That always helps. And just do the bare minimum that you can. Okay. Do you use voice warm up apps? If so, which ones do you like? Mark David, I don't use voice warm up apps because I have old, recordings of vocal warm ups that I did for singing. And then I have my own that I've developed, which I've shared today a little bit. But I say that's great. That's great. As long as, you're listening to it, whatever apps you have and whatever you can use to warm that up and it works for you, then do it. And, again, there's no substitution also after you do those warm-ups to speaking. And like I said before, reading the cereal box or reading a newspaper, or whatever it is, because it's like a song, right? Sometimes it will take the fun out of it if you keep having to do the same old warm-ups, right? So it's the same thing with and vocalizing. So sometimes I would start out with singing in a low register, let's say song, and then I would move up to like a higher register song, and that would expand my, so I have change it up is what I'm saying. So you don't get bored of the same thing every day. Laurie, I'm an actor as well as VO. Hi, Jessica. And I find that learning my lines each day, which I do out loud, is what really gets my voice. Do you have any thoughts? Yes, I do. Jessica, I was in that situation where I sang absolutely correctly. This is absolutely correctly, but I spoke incorrectly. So it's really voice therapy. If your voice is going, Jessica, then I would, of course, suggest seeing a doctor first and just saying, is there vocal therapy that you can sign me up for? I feel that you might have some nodules, you might have some lesions. If that's happening all the time, you definitely want to focus on how you're speaking, because that's what's going on, obviously. So it's more than just these vocal exercises. That's going to be different exercises. Otolaryngologist would be the person that you'd want to see, but first you would probably start ear, nose, throat, and say, I'm having some difficulties with my voice is getting tired and it's getting raspy, or it hurts, or whatever. You're not using your air correctly. I also say concentrate on taking a breath before your line. Keep concentrating on breathing. And if you have to, put little dots like we do in singing. You put little little marks of where your breath is, so you know that you breathe. So I think vocal warm-ups as for a singer as well would help you. And Jessica, if another way you can do it is if you were like me and you sang correctly, I don't know if you're a singer, you can sing the lines, and then go into it and do that. Maybe that'll loosen something up. Okay. Why is whispering harmful? Watcher? Yeah. Read up on that. You'll see. You're not, it's too much to go into physiologically, but don't whisper. I'll see if I can put a link up to that or something like that of why that is. Is warm honey and lemon good for the vocal cords? A lot of people swear by warm honey and lemon. I personally love taking a spoonful of honey. I've done that before performances. I've done that before musicals. I've done that before singing and speaking. And I actually love that. Lemon does not do it for me. Lemon is not good for me. Lemon seems to dry it up. I don't know why. Everybody's got different things that they do. Gargling with salt water, people do afterwards. Of course, that's not a bad thing either. I use something else called GSE, um, but that's I like honey for sure. That's a great thing. Oh, one most important thing too is don't numb your voice. You know, for those people that the one that was screaming, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, in there that was, if you're still with me, and you were yelling in a because you're doing video games and animation, don't go the route of going to like a spray that will numb your vocal cords. Don't do that, because you will end up blowing out your vocal cords probably, because you won't feel it when you're really hurting it. Okay. Go another direction. Like for me, when I went in and I had lost my voice, they said, "Do you want a cortisone shot?" Because I had some voiceover to do. And I said, "I don't want to go down that path." Not saying that's not, you know, feasible if I had millions of people that I was singing in front of, or doing a voiceover or hosting something. You know, I don't know what my decision would have been then. But at the time, I really made a conscious decision not to rely on anything else other than my own techniques. Because you have to sit there and go, what am I doing wrong? What am I learning from this? What is it that I can improve on? Okay. Love honey. Same on the lemon. Okay. So some people, yes, GSE as in grapefruit seed extract. Yes, Elena, I do that. I use that. I gargle it and then I swallow it. Um, that has saved me. However, it's grapefruit seed extract. So I didn't want to mention it because in case anybody's taking any medications that are sensitive to grapefruit, and that sort of citrus thing, I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to tell you guys to take anything that would be harmful. But if you don't take anything else and you want to try it, yes, that is what I use. I use grapefruit seed extract. That'll be on my YouTube. I'll put a link to that because I love that. I've been using it for years, and it's really, really helped when I have injured my voice or not done it. Yes, I love. Somebody else said, "Oh, Jessica again." Yes, on the subject of honey, half a teaspoon of local to you honey is great for seasonal allergies. Really great, local as within 20 miles of where you live. Yeah, I agree. I love honey. I really do. What type of vocal Kissimmee? What type of vocal exercise can you recommend for someone who has vocal weakness after thyroid surgery? It's been almost a year. Kissimmee, I would love to give you some advice. That is something I would say to talk to your doctor with. I don't want to do anything. Definitely go to a otolaryngologist is what I would say, because there's a lot of stuff going in there. You had a surgery. That's a really big thing. So I'm not a doctor again, so I don't want to give you, I don't want to do anything that would mess you up. So I say really go to, start with your ear, nose, throat, or the person who did your surgery, and then see if you can get some sort of vocal therapy. Would be great for that. Okay. Is green tea good for the voice? You know, the thing about green tea, Maya, is that it's got caffeine in it. So the warmth of it, I think, is good. The caffeine is not. That's pretty much what I have to say with that. Okay, I'm going to have one more question in here. Let's see. How do you deal with emotional tension in your throat, Rebecca? How do you deal with emotional? That's such a great question. There's one other exercise, or there's many exercises, but there's some, when I spoke earlier in this, on this live session, I was talking about the relaxation, right? So, we can massage, just don't be afraid to massage your throat, right? I mean, you could look these up too, but mine that I do up here, the jaw, I do it back here behind my ears. I do it down my throat, right? In here, I do it behind. Sometimes it's the muscles behind. It's our head. It's everything. Another exercise though, that I used to do is when I was singing, I can't do it now because of the setup, but I would lean over and I would sing, and I would just put my head kind of like you're putting your head between your knees, kind of, and I would sing like this, a really easy song, and it would help me to feel the resonance in my mask, in my cavity up here. So that's something you could do to just kind of relax. But I think definitely, I mean, I meditate every day, and I listen to a lot of music, and I read a lot, and I do things like that. And that's usually where the tension's going from. But I would say also your muscles up here, any kind of massaging like that would be good. I do have a massage pillow I use, and that seems to help a lot too. I'll try to put all this on my YouTube channel, so there's links to everything. Okay, so I think that's it. And yes, yes, when in doubt, I go for good old H2O, 100%. 100%. Yes. Um, water, 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 water. Water's great. You've heard that a million times. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for all these sayings. You get older and you're like, oh my God, these are true. You know, it's the same thing with cliches. You're like, oh, that's how that came up. That is absolutely, I have learned now that is true. And maybe I could have listened to that person a little bit more. Anyway, that's going to do it for this session. But thank you so much. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Again, please go to laurieburke.com. All the links are going to be below, or to my YouTube channel. And sign up for my, when it comes up to add your address on my website, you could do that for vocal coaching. There's a button there. I'm pretty full, but you could check into it and kind of see what some of my past students have said and get some more information about me. I'm developing courses as we speak, but I'm getting so much information. I really want to make this a really good course. So I am working on that, and that's going to be coming out in some classes and things like that, because I do get quite a bit of emails asking. Again, the private is pretty full, but you can look on vocal coaching, and that'll lead you to a page with all that information. Just go to laurieburke.com. Okay, and I think that's it. So thank you again for coming. Thanks, guys, and yes, have a very happy Labor Day. I forgot it was Labor Day. Gosh. It's just, yeah. Anyway, but thank you again for your interest in voiceover, and I hope you guys all go for it. Just remember to keep expressing yourself, keep up with the creativity, and keep talking. Okay? And have a great day.